Everyone, Leah Dixon here from Port Coquitlam, British Columbia. I am live this morning with my weekly card class to go. This week I am featuring the Darling Details card class to go. So it's a bundle, it's a stamp set and dies, and so you can see them over here. I'll just actually zoom in on just my desktop and we'll get started. Good morning, Kim. Nice to have you joining us. All right, so this stamp set and dies is kind of one that I hadn't noticed in the catalog. And then a friend of mine suggested it for a stamp camp, which we are doing at the end of June. You can still register for that. The link's in the description of this video. But I wanted to kind of highlight it because I definitely missed it the first go through. So the stamp set is a floral stamp set, which is probably why I missed it. I tend to kind of gloss over the florals, but they're actually really pretty. And the sentiments are just fantastic. Some great ones for the fronts of cards, as well as some nice ones for the inside. Count me among all the people who are here for you. And you're not here. I hate that. So a great one for a friend. But the real kind of like eye catcher of this whole bundle are the dies. You actually get 2 sheets of dies in this set, and they're these really fun border dies. So there's one that creates like a hole in your card with the nice eyelet edging, a smaller one that does the same, and then like a straight edge, so you can do the edge of cardstock, the edge of your card front, whatever. And then there's some really nice kind of accent pieces, as well as the dies that cut out the images that you stamp. So the dies are really kind of the show stealer in this set. So I'm excited to craft with those with you. I'm going to move these things out of the way, and we're going to get started with our first card. So our first card, I actually cased the layout from Hammond and Penny. So it's Melody Hyde, and she's one of the Stampin' Up! Designers who actually designs for the catalog. And so she actually created this using little like fruit wedges, like orange, lemon, and I don't know what the pink one would have been, but anyways, so this layout's kind of stolen from her and adapted with flowers. And here we go. I've got just a basic white card base, and the first thing I'm going to do is actually glue some paper strips across my embossed piece of basic white that's going on this card as well. So I'm going to glue those strips first, because then I can trim them as I want before they're on the card, so it'll be way easier to trim. So when I glue these down, actually, you know what? I'm not going to use glue. I'm going to use mini glue dots for this, just because then I'm going to be able to place them a little bit better, and we're going to have a quicker hold. If I was not doing this live and I could let it sit for a while before I snipped the ends, then I would definitely use liquid glue. But because I'm doing it this way, so I'm going to put this down so that I can see where to put my mini glue dots. There we go. So I can see that those are going to stay on. So now with that done, I am going to kind of center this, but it's not glued down. Whoops. Then I'm going to take this and kind of find center top to bottom. And I'm going to use my glue dots to hold that down. Okay, so now I'm going to apply my glue dots to my next 2 strips as well. So I hope you guys are having a great day. I'm kind of happy it's a little bit cloudier. It means I won't feel guilty staying in here and crafting this morning, and it'll be a bit cooler for when I go out for my bike ride this afternoon. Today's my day off. I only work 4 days a week as a teacher, and then on my Wednesday, right in the middle of my week, I get a lovely day at home to do all the household things, to do all the stamping things, hopefully get some exercise in, and also take the kids to all their lessons and stuff. So kind of a fun day for me, and a nice break midweek from the classroom. So although this week it's not really midweek, we had Monday off. Laundry, yes. Yeah, laundry is usually part of the Wednesday routine. This week, because we had Monday off, I actually got all my laundry done on Monday, so I don't actually have to do any today. Yay! Which is why I'm going to be able to sneak in the bike ride. Yeah. There we go. So just about done. Oh, I am a busy girl. I teach grade 2, 3. So they're 7 and 8-year-olds. Well, at this point in the year, some of them are turning 9, and they are lovely. It's a great age, no matter what. But my group this year is also just an exceptionally lovely little group. So they're fun. All right, so I've got those glued. Now what I'm going to do is grab my paper snips, and I am going to come in here and just snip the ends. And then I'm going to turn this around and snip the other side. There we go. So I've kind of created this fun little background. Let's get all these little snippings out of the way. There we go. And we're done. So with that done, now this can get glued to our card front. And that's like literally all it is we're just gluing this one down. I don't want to put dimensionals on it because we're going to dimensional the flowers, and then we're going to start getting kind of extra thick, and then it's hard to mail and it gets all squished. So we're going to keep this one a little bit thin by just gluing that layer down. Okay. So because we have such a bumpy background, though, it really does raise up those bars. And so it gives them a good shadow and makes them really stand out. So fantastic. All right. Next up is to do our sentiments. So I've got here one of the circles from our Stylish Shapes dies. Now, I forgot to check if these were back in stock yet. They had been out for a little while, but as soon as they are back in stock, you want to grab these. So we're using the second smallest die for our sentiment today. Oh, the 3-pack folder is fabulous as well. That one I think was also out of stock, but will be coming back. So just I'll let you guys know when it's back. And if you don't have it, you definitely want to grab it. It's part of our online exclusives, so you won't find it in a catalog. It's kind of a new thing for a few months now, but it still feels pretty new, this whole online exclusive where we have products that are not in any publications, but only available online. And so I'm really trying to let people be aware of that so that you can go online and check it out. And see all the new stuff, because we're moving out of a world of just the catalog and into one where we can get new product more frequently because it's being offered online only, so they don't need to wait to get it printed into a catalog or anything like that. All right, oops. So I'm going to place this thank you circle so that it's kind of overlapping the bottom bar, going down off the bottom, but we're over to the side because we need to leave space for a flower there. And I just put that on with dimensionals. All right, now we get to have some color fun. And this is where you can really make this card your own. I am recommending that we use Berry Burst, Pumpkin Pie, Daffodil Delight, and Granny Apple Green for the flowers and the leaves. But really, you could go wild and crazy and do this in any color scheme you wanted. So yeah, just have fun with it. A few little tips and tricks. Oh, good morning. Just says Facebook user where I'm watching, but I'll see later who it is, or you can put in the comment who just popped onto Facebook. All right, so we've got our flower and the inside of our flower. as well as we need our leaf and our inside of our leaf. I'm going to stamp the flowers first. Now, when I go to do this though, I am going to actually stamp off. So I'm going to stamp a full strength flower, but then I'm going to stamp off before I stamp the rest of my image. There we go. So it just gives it a little bit of a lighter look. Oh, hi, Lila. Awesome. Thanks for joining. So this is the Darling Detail stamp set that I'm using, and I'm just creating some fun cards this week as my card class to go. And then if you love them, I also have my Darling Details stamp camp, and registration for that is open until May 31st. Kathy, yes, this bundle, especially those dies, oh my gosh, they're amazing. All right, so I used pumpkin pie. I don't even know where pumpkin pie is. Oh, there it is. It moved color families, and now I'm like so confused by everything. All right, so we're going to stamp again in pumpkin pie, and again we're going to ink that up and then stamp off before we stamp our flower. There we go. And then we get to clean these again. Now, I guess I could have, if I was thinking, I actually would have started this the other way around and started with my Daffodil Delight, and then I might have been able to get away without even cleaning my stamps, just going from light to dark in terms of our colors. Wouldn't that have been bright? So here we go. My final flower. So Daffodil Delight, full strength, and then Daffodil Delight, even this one, I am going to stamp it off. Okay, the Daffodil Delight's still really bright, stamped off. It's quite shocking, actually. Okay, so I am going to clean those in case I forget, because we use these again on another card, and I don't want to mix inks. Okay, set those off to the side, and now we have our little leaves, and we need, it's super easy two-step stamping. Super easy. So nice and easy to line up. All right, so this one, we're just going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little leaves. So you can see it fits all. Oh, I'm going to turn that banner off now that we've started. People know what I'm doing. Let's hide that banner so you guys have a better view of what I'm doing on my desktop, because I tend to work kind of down at the bottom. It's not the best, but it's what I do. All right, so now these leaves as well, we are going to stamp those off. So it's a lot of stamping off before we do that second step. You don't have to, and you'll still end up with lovely looking flowers. They're just going to be a little bit darker, brighter, you know. Oh, that one I'm going to redo. Not redo, but stamp a second time. There we go. All right. So super easy to create all the bits that we need to put our card together. Let's set those off to the side as well. And now I'm going to bring in my little machine, and we get to do some die cutting. Now, of course, I'm doing multiples here, so it's actually a fair amount of die cutting, but I want you to see as well that it's actually really easy die cutting. The only problem I had the other day is I lost my dies. So here we go. We pop that around the flower, and it's nice because it's got the flat end, so there's no kind of wondering which way this die goes. It's pretty obvious. And then for our leaf, it has one end that's a little bit pointy, so that makes that one easy to line up. Okay, and then we just roll it through and repeat and repeat and repeat. If I had been thinking, I would have pre-cut some of these so that you guys wouldn't have to watch me do the whole thing, but that's okay. If you're stamping along with me, if you already have this stamp set, stamp along with me, and then this gives you time to do all the things too. All right. So here we go. Second set. So you can see they do line up really easily. I'm not that skilled with this machine. They just are easy. Okay, we'll pull that off. So the Darling Details Stamp Camp. So this is my card class, but my stamp camp that I have coming up is kind of nice. It features the same bundle, but then it also features the Bright and Beautiful Designer Series paper. So kind of a different color scheme than what I've chosen for today's cards. And then we're also popping in some silver sequins accent onto our cards, which you'll get in your make and take pack if you sign up for that stamp camp. So definitely, you know, a great way to play with these flowers, play with these gorgeous dies, and also kind of build up some of your new colors. So between my card class and the stamp camp, you could grab a bunch of new colors and then have this awesome set to play with. All right, we have 3 more leaves to go, and then I am done my die cutting for this card. I think this is the heaviest one for die cutting. And these things look beautiful, not die cut. It's just that I chose to use that extra textured background that you just like, you can't stamp on it. I mean, you can, but you have to stamp first and then die cut. So, and then emboss, because it is so 3D. It's crazy. All right. And one more. And then I've got the greatest little trick for you guys for attaching these leaves to these flowers. I'm not a big fan of like paper piecing and stuff just because I find it very finicky. So I'm always looking for the easy way, the lazy way to do things. And I have found it with these ones. All right. Okay, so let's put those dies back where they won't fly away on me. There. Got my last flower. So now for these little guys, we're not going to glue them together and then attach them to our page. That's too much work. We're going to glue them together in a way that allows me to attach them to the page. So I'm going to grab a dimensional, a flower, and a leaf. I'm going to set my leaf up in the way that I want it, flip this over, and actually use my dimensional to hold that leaf in place. Okay, so there you go. Leaf's in place, and it's just being held in place on the back by my dimensional. And repeat. So then kind of go, okay, I'd like that one to look like that. So then I flip it over and use my dimensional to hold that in place. And then I can just throw one additional dimensional on there, and that's going to hold that whole flower onto my card front. So that's exactly what I'm going to do for my next 2 flowers. And you can change up how you want these. You could put the leaves kind of in front if you wanted. That's going to work as well in exactly the same way. We're just hiding those dimensionals and using them at the same time to attach these. Now I do always want to come in and just make sure that the front looks the way I want it before I go attach this dimensional. There and there. Okay, and a 3rd flower. So yeah, it's just kind of quick and easy then. You don't have to be finicky with like mini glue dots or anything like that. These flowers are big enough that this works. Okay, let's see here. That one's got a bit of a border, so do like that. And like that. All right. Okie dokie. So that is our 3 flowers all put together. And now we just add them to our card front. So you can do these however you'd like, but kind of like if you think of the idea of like one per stripe, This is kind of like, it reminds me of if you take a photography class and they talk about doing everything in threes and kind of breaking up your scenery into threes, and like just this grid kind of helps you get everything nicely spaced so it's visually pleasing. It's that rule of threes again in everything. All right. So there we have our 3 little flowers on there. And then the final thing here is to add some embellishments. And what I have for this week are the adhesive back sequins trio. So I'm not sure what pink they say this is. It might be Berry Burst or Melon Mambo, then Pretty Peacock, and our white / clear ones. They're kind of like iridescent. They're beautiful. So for this card, I am going to use these pinky ones because they do go so nicely with our Berry Burst. And I'm just throwing these around, just like all over the place. Come on, don't stick to me. Now, if you're worried, if you've got like long nails and doing this with your fingers doesn't work, the Take Your Pick tool is a great tool to apply these with. All right, there we go. And we have our card. It's all done. Yeah. So quick and easy. And just so fun, like just great colors for this time of year and everything. Yeah. And then if you wanted to, you could add a flower onto your envelope, decorate that up. I'm currently saving my envelopes because I forgot to order them and I'm worried I'm not going to have enough for packing up my In Color Club and my stamp camp and stuff. So I'm saving them until I need them. I do have more on order, but they're not here yet. So I won't be decorating an envelope today. All right, there is our second card. And so we're going with kind of a softer look, just kind of toning down the colors. And I love this palette of the Petal Pink with the Smoky Slate and our new Lemon Lolly. This yellow, you guys, is beautiful. It's just soft and lovely. All right, so, oh, thank you so much, Kim. Thanks, Lila. Thank you, Kathy. So this card is softer and we get to play with some of the other dies. So I'm excited about that. And actually, let's start with that. Let's start with our Lemon Lolly piece here. And we're going to need our little machine again. It's kind of nice because we can use the little one for all of the die cutting that we're doing. So I'm going to grab my little machine, my little plates, and then my piece of Lemon Lolly. And then I'm going to grab that border die. Now let me move this all around so that you guys can see this a bit better. There we go. So I'm going to grab my border die and place it on here. And you'll see that it actually is longer than the piece that I've got. And now this piece that I'm going to include in your kit is also longer than you actually need. And the reason for that is because that's going to allow you to lay it down on your card however you would like and then trim the ends. So we're going to put that on there. Oops. And then lay this down over top. And if you're finding that it's not staying straight for you, you could use a piece of like washi tape or two-sided tape or something to hold it in place. But because we're trimming the ends and we're going to be covering the top, I'm not too worried about it being exact. All right, so we've got that die cut. And we'll put that aside. And now we have that gorgeous little eyelet border all happening here. Now, this does make a little bit of a mess with all the little itty bitty pieces. And then you're going to want to take either your Take Your Pick tool, or if you've got the rolly brush end, you can roll that over top. I just find this one so so detailed that I just use this and it works quite well. All right, so we're popping out all those little dots. Okay, and then I'll show you a little trick for cleaning your Stampin' Cut and Emboss plates, so that you kind of can minimize the mess and maximize the speed with which you clean it. All right, so what you're going to do is take your plate and your top plate. Now, I'm lucky my recycling bin is a big old Stampin' Up! Box that sits under my desk, so it's large and easy for me to put things into. But literally what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this over my recycling bin and scrape with the top plate. I'm going to see if I can do it into my small one here so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. But normally I do this into a great big box, and so it's not an issue at all. So I've got my plate into my recycling. I take my second plate and I kind of use it to scrape down, and then you see that was super quick and easy, and my plates are ready to go again. You don't want to leave those little bits on there because then they'll actually end up embossing and like indenting your next thing that you die cut. So we don't want that. All right. So with that done, we are going to take just our gray piece. We're going to take our yellow. We're going to take a piece of petal pink and a piece of Flirty Flamingo. You'll notice that the petal pink and Flirty Flamingo are the same size as the Smoky Slate, whereas my yellow is not. So I am going to actually look at my yellow piece here and decide where and how I want this on my card so that I can trim it exactly how I want it. All right, so that's looking good to me. So we're just going to hold these pieces in place gently for a moment. We're going to get some Versamark and kind of our long leaf here. So that long leaf. And with this long leaf, we are going to kind of imagine where this would be and then scooch it out of the way and stamp two little leaves up like that. You know what? Actually, I think I even want those higher. So I'm going to flip mine over and like that and like that. All right. And then down here at the bottom, I'm going to kind of go on a diagonal from there. And just like that, and do two more. Okay, so the Versamark's kind of cool because it's tone on tone. Now, if you don't have Versamark, you can use Smoky Slate. It's just going to be a little bit darker, or you could do stamped off Smoky Slate to get this nice light effect. But as time goes, our Versamark actually gets darker on our paper. So it makes for a really nice effect. I'll bring back the original. So that was done in Versamark. So you can see we've got our sentiment as well as our leaves on there, and they're just subtle in the background. Okay, so with that done, we can now adhere these. So I'm going to start, you can use mini glue dots or liquid glue. I'm actually going to use some Seal Plus just for the purposes of being speedy. I actually don't like using Seal Plus because I can't easily kind of scooch it around, but that's okay. So I want this one so that, there we go. I'm just kind of looking at how the scallops are going to come across. And so I didn't want half of this. It would look unfinished on the side. So I just want that not visible. And then with that down, I'm going to come in and snip this off. So now we can see on the front, I don't have any weird little notching on that side edge. And then this side, I couldn't do much. I am going to have the little holes on the side, but those are clearly the circle, so it won't look kind of truly unfinished. Okay, so those little bits can go. That just allows us to create this and then trim it how we want it. All right, now our piece of petal pink is going to go down, and again, use whatever adhesive you would like, liquid glue, mini glue dots, whatever. I am going to use my Seal Plus though, just because it's a fast hold and then you guys don't have to wait. And I'm using it, you can see here, there's kind of a line from where we die cut. I'm going to use this piece to cover that line. Just cover it. Okay, there we go. And then finally, I'm going to attach my Flirty Flamingo. And I'm going to use that to make sure I cover up the bottoms of those leaves. Okay, so how wide do you make these strips is totally up to you. Make them wide, make them short. It doesn't matter. All right, now before we do anything more with this, I am going to grab my ribbon. So this is the Petal Pink ribbon from our Ribbon Duo pack. These are the ones that come in the Zany Zoo suite, but you can of course buy them separately. And so you get the really fun lemon lime twist as well as the beautiful striped petal pink. So we're going to use a piece of petal pink today. I am going to put a piece across that is just wider than my front. And then I'm not going to get rid of this. We're going to bring it back and use it to make a bow in a bit. But first of all, I'm going to put a little bit of some kind of dry adhesive on the back. You definitely want dry adhesive for this part because you want it to grab quickly. And I'm going to use this to cover up the line between my petal pink and my Flirty Flamingo. And you can choose to cover up more of one or the other color. It's your choice, or make it perfectly centered. But that is what we're doing, is we're covering up that line between the two. With that done, this whole piece can now get glued onto your piece of petal pink that's in your pack. So we're going to glue that down, and I am going to use liquid glue for that. Okay, here we go. Oh, that's my glue that's almost out. I need to remove that one from my desk. Here we go. I've got my good glue. All right. So just a tiny, like super thin layer of glue around the outside edges, and wipe off any excess in the center. And here we go. This is where I like the liquid glue because I can come in and kind of wiggle it around and get a nice border. Okay. There we go. And now this piece can get attached straight to our card front, and we're just using a thick basic white card base again. So again, liquid glue, thin border, so I just get a little bubble and drag it, little bubble and drag it. Okay. And we really can smooth that out so that we don't actually see like blobs of white on our card back. We want it to be just super duper thin. And then this is where you have to make sure that you've got things the right way around, because this is where we determine the direction of our card. So I wanted my scallops at the bottom. It would work to put them at the top. You know, it won't really ruin anything, but I wanted mine at the bottom. So we've really got the base of our card kind of set here now. Now we get to have a little bit of fun doing some decorating. So I have a basic white circle that we're going to put on there. This was again cut with our Stylish Shapes dies, but this time we used the third largest circle to create that background, and that can just get attached right now, right away, get it out of the way with some dimensionals. Because everything that we do is going to get tucked behind or glued on top. So this will allow us to be in position and able to tuck things exactly where we want them. So I did only put 3 on the back here so that I have lots of space to tuck things underneath. Okay, so our circle's on there. We can see our leaves top and bottom. And now we get to have some fun. So I'm going to do my stamping, and then we can do all of our die cutting at once. So this go round, we are using the larger flower. Oh, come on. But it's the exact same process as with the smaller flower. So I'm going to stamp Full Strength Flirty Flamingo. And then, now this one requires a little bit of lining up, but it's pretty simple because there's the one double flower. So we're going to ink that up, but then stamp it off before we stamp it. There we go. Beautiful. And for our leaves, I switched it up and I'm using Lost Lagoon. I just thought Granny Apple was a little too bright for this color palette. So my greenery, I switched out to Lost Lagoon. If you like that bright look or you don't have Lost Lagoon, go ahead and use Granny Apple again on this one. Like, it's not the end of the world. I just thought this was a little bit softer. Okay, so we've got that done. And so again, with the leaves, I stamped off before I stamped the inside. But it's super simple two-step stamping. So now we have a bunch of stuff to die cut. We've got our flower and leaves. We're going to do a flower accent and a leaf accent with our dies. So you definitely want to have the dies for this card kit. I'm just sending you the papers to do your die cutting. I'm not actually doing your die cutting for you. This is like pretty intricate stuff. It would take me forever to die cut this for you. So in your card kit, you're going to want to have the dies or something else. Like you could use your own bow punches or fussy cut these things, I guess. Okay, so die cut that flower. Oh, I should have put the leaves on there at the same time. And we could have just rolled it through once. That was silly. Not thinking. All right, so the flower has a die cut. The leaves have a die cut. There we go. Let's move that over so it's actually on the board. Okay. There we go. And now 2 of our fun ones. These are ones that don't coordinate with stamped bits. These are our dies that are just fun on their own. So I'm going to put down my 2 pieces of cardstock. I'm going to put down the floral die and the long leafy die. And we'll roll both of those through together. Now, because they're a bit more intricate, I'm going to roll them back as well. So they've actually passed through twice to help them cut. And we'll pull that off. There we go. There we go. Oh, that wasn't too bad. Didn't leave behind too many things. So again, I'm just scraping my plates. There we go. And now let's play around with these. We need to poke out all these little bits. I'm going to do it right into my bin this time. All right. Sorry, guys, my little messy recycle bin here. It's just easier to poke them out right into there, though, than to have them fly all over my desk and then have to pick them up. All right. A few more. So you can see these are quite detailed and they're so pretty. Okay. So there's one. And then our flower is also very detailed. There we go. So all the little bits for our flower petals. Those come out pretty quick and easy. And then down here, all these little pieces inside our leaf. There we go. All right. So with those done, I can move those dies out of the way. Move our scraps out of the way and bring our card back in to start decorating. So this floral piece, I am going to tuck it under just like that so that we almost don't see the leaf, we just see the flowers. Okay, and to attach that one, I'm just going to use a mini glue dot at the base, and then the rest is just going to fly free. So down here, I'm just going to, put that on and even just kind of curl in the edges and stuff. So there's just a tiny little glue dot on there. And then I'm going to tuck that under, and that's going to stay put. Awesome. Now this little piece we're going to put in up here, but now my dimensionals are kind of getting in the way. So I'm actually going to tear that off so that it's a little bit smaller. Oh, I'm actually going to tear that off. So I'm going to keep playing with this until I get it so that it's going to sit the way I want it. Perfect. So you could save those extra little bits and use them on something else, or just recycle them. Up to you. Gonna wait till it's over doing the laundry. Yeah, it'll still be there. That's the thing about laundry, is it never goes away, Val. Never goes away. It's like dirty dishes. They'll always be there for you. Okay, so with those two little accents on there, however you want them, we're going to add in now our leaves and our flower. And again, I'm going to use flowers for both of these, and I've kind of put them together how I like them. So I'm going to pick them up together, flip them over together, and I am going to use my dimensionals to hold them together. So now that I've got those leaves held in place, I can go ahead and pop another dimensional up there. And I'm actually going to sneak one down here in this one leaf that kind of sticks down, just so that it stays popped up. I'm going to peel that off. Pop this onto our circle, just like that. And now we get to finish up with embellishing. So I'm going to grab my ribbon and tuck this under. Now I haven't cut it off my roll. This is actually kind of a ribbon saving technique. With it on my roll, I'm going to make my two bunny ears. This allows you to have more ribbon to play with, so that it's easy to make your bow, but then at the end of the day, you only cut off really what you need. All right, so I've made my little bow. I'm going to kind of finick with it here until I get it to the right size and shape that I want. And then I'll grab my snips and trim this off. So this one end, I'm trimming it off my rolls, and I've just saved a whole bunch. And then I only have a tiny little piece that's extra that I'm pulling off the other end. So hardly wasting any ribbon doing it that way. Oh, breezy sunny day. That is the perfect day for hanging laundry. Oh my goodness. All right, so we've got our ribbon on here. Now I want my embellishments, and I'm going to use the white ones for this card. We're going to keep it really soft, really subtle. And we'll just kind of pop these around into the little nooks and crannies. There we go. And then maybe bring one down over here. And so we've just kind of circled our image with those really subtle sequins. Yeah. Oh, and I did this the first time too. I went to go take the photograph of my card. I'm like, it looks odd. There's something missing. The sentiment. I don't know what's up with me with this card. All right, so I'm actually going to stamp my sentiment with Versamark. And I'm using the Just a Note You can use any of them though. And you're just going to place it up in this left corner wherever it seems to look right to you. So there we go. I've got my just a note stamped on there, and with time that is going to get, I don't know if it's or if it's the video, looks a little bit fuzzy, but trust me, it's not in person. And it's going to get a little bit darker as it sets, because that's the beauty of how Versamark works when you stamp it. So yeah, that is our second card. So a lot softer than the first one. Versamark's not your friend? Oh no, I love my Versamark. All right, here's our final card. I took our bright colors from the first card and our subtle colors from our second card, and I've put them together on this one. And this card, you guys, I love this. Oh my gosh. So there's hardly anything in your kit because there's hardly anything to this card, but it's so pretty. We're going to start with a piece of basic white cardstock. Now for this one, this won't fit through my mini machine. That's why if you look at my list of supplies, I do say to have the big machine, because although this die is small enough, the paper I'm cutting is not. It's too wide. You need 3 1/4 or less to fit through the mini machine. So I'm going to actually do this off screen. Sorry guys, I don't want to carry my big machine over here. But what I'm going to do is I'm taking the smaller of the frame dies and I'm going to put it on my white centered like that. And I'm going to run this through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So I will be right back. And that's just over on the other side of my room. So. Okay. So that made a big mess on my other machine. It left all the little border dots over there. So I don't have to clean them up right now. I just have to come in here and remove the few that didn't stay behind. Which luckily the plates on my other one are really old and so everything sticks to them. So most of these dots stuck over there, which is handy for me. All right, most of them off the side. Here we go. And voila, we have our beautiful card base all designed. And we really didn't have to do much. Now, before we attach this, we're just going to place it on our card front, but we're not attaching it yet. We will attach it, but we're going to attach it with dimensionals. And I am going to grab my Happy Birthday sentiment, and I'm starting with Daffodil Delight. So with this just in place how I'd like it, I'm going to grab my Happy Birthday and stamp that at the top of my card. And then we get to clean. And we're going to stamp this again right underneath with my Lost Lagoon. This is another one, just like with the first card. Go ahead and like change up the colors. Have fun. Pick your 3 favorite colors and go for it. So there's our second Happy Birthday. And then we clean that up. And then our third Happy Birthday is going to get stamped with our Berry Burst again. Now, the reason I didn't attach this yet is because with the dimensionals, then it just pops it up a bit and makes it a bit harder to stamp in the space. So now that we have those 3 stamped right up at the top, we're going to attach this with dimensionals, and I am not shy with them. Let me tell you. We start with our corners. Then down this side, we're going to have 2. Down this side, we're going to have 2. And across the bottom, We're going to have two. So the top as well. There are a lot of dimensionals on there, but I really want it to all stay up and really strong and looking sharp on this card. That's one of the things that makes a card look so good, is when it looks crisp. So we don't want this to be all saggy, not old looking. Nice crisp card. Here we go. So now we're going to line this up again on our front. Voila. I could have done that a bit better. Oh well. So we've got that on there. Oh, I do have to fix that. Oh my goodness, that's awful. Well, now you guys get to see how to fix something when you put it down wrong with dimensionals. We're going to take our scissors between the two layers and snip those dimensionals. Unfortunately, on this card, that means a lot of snipping. Okay, now was that enough that I can wiggle it? Nope. I'm going to have to snip more. Darn it. Now, just be really careful as you're doing this, that you're snipping between the layers and you're not actually snipping layers. Okay. No, still not. I have to take the whole thing off. Okay. Now, the joy of doing it this way, with your snips between the layers, though, although it means I just wasted a whole bunch of dimensionals, it means that I haven't bent my card front or my card base. So that's a good thing. All right. Now, you could take these off so you can just kind of give them a little rolly, and they come off quite nicely and they don't bend anything. Because I took off that one, I'll take off this one. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to put a new dimensional on kind of beside where I had my old ones. They won't bump into each other, and we'll be just fine. So it's a shame that it's, you know, a little bit of a wasted set of dimensionals, but it's an easy fix for when you kind of go crazy and put those things down really crooked like I did. That was wildly crooked. Okay, peel off all of these backings again. There we go. And this time I'm going to go, don't you dare. I'm going to attach this straight. So let's really watch that edge. Okay, that is 1,000 times better. All right. There we go. Oh, I'm much happier with that. Yeah, so rubbing them, they come off. Once you've got them snipped in half, rubbing them, they come off so easily. But that whole snipping thing just makes it so that you don't bend anything, because there's nothing worse than a bent card front, like just ick. So that allows us to do that all smoothly. So now we have our piece of Lost Lagoon, and it's cut with the banner, the large banner from our Stylish Shapes as well. Oh, fixing things could be a whole class, Kim. Trust me. Especially the way I stamp. I am always fixing things. So I'm going to use just 2 mini glue dots on this. I don't want a ton of adhesive all over the place because we have these eyelids. I don't want that getting stuck to the bottom. So I'm literally just going to come out to the tips of my banner, put 2 little glue dots on those tips on each side, and that is what's going to hold this in place. So 4 glue dots. And trust me, it is enough. These glue dots have a really good hold. All right, now the reason I'm doing them out on the tips of my banners is because my tips are off on the side and away from any eyelet. So now I want to cover up the whole bottom of my die cut here, but not leave too much space below that birthday. There we go. So that is done. And now we get to stamp our flowers that are going to go on here. So by now you guys can tell me what to do when it comes to this. We're going to grab our flowers, our Daffodil Delight, and stamp a flower, ink it up, stamp it off, fill it in, and there we go. And then we get to bring in another flower. There's so many flowers in this stamp set. This is our little itty bitty one. And we're going to do 1, 2, 3. And I like to just stamp a few spares just because we have some space, just in case. Okay. And that's it for our Daffodil Delight. We're going to bring in our Berry Burst. Now I do want to clean this, otherwise those flowers are going to look a little orange. All right, and for the Berry Burst, it is quite bright. So I'm doing a full strength and a stamped off. Oh, I don't like that stamped off. And then a full strength and a stamped off. Might end up using both full strengths today. I don't know. Sometimes they come out nicer than other times. And then we want our leaves, which I do need to clean. Those are covered in Granny Apple Green. And we are going to be using them in Lost Lagoon to match up with our paper strip there. So grab our Lost Lagoon, and 1, 2, and then stamp off, and stamp off. There we go. So that's all of our stamping on there. And then put those off to the side. And now, of course, we get to die cut these bits. And this time around, I'm going to remember that you can use more than one die at a time. I'm waking up. Okay. So we have the die that outlines our flower. And then we have the die that outlines our little flower. This one's kind of funny. I never really know if I've got it lined up right, but then it never really looks bad. So we're all good. And then our die that outlines our leaf. Roll those through. And repeat. Oh, getting messages. Interesting. But I had all my volumes turned off. Okay. So now we are going to roll this one through again. This time we just need the flower and our second leaf. Oops. Don't knock them out of place though. So our flower, just like that, flower and leaf. There we go. These ones are tinier, so they're a bit more finicky to, you know what, Kim, I figured out what it is. And so I just have to make sure that I'm tapping my screen every once in a while. So if you see, I don't know if you guys actually see my finger show up in the screen or not, but if I tap the screen on my phone every once in a while, then it prevents it. Apparently I have a new phone, and the longest that I can go without the screen timing out is 10 minutes. It was set for way less than that, so I've set it for its maximum, which is 10 minutes, which means I don't have to touch the screen too often, and it solved it. I have not yet been able to figure out how to simply turn off that feature. For some reason, it really wants to have my screen turn off. So yeah, I'm going to keep looking to see if I can completely turn that feature off. But for now, at least I've got it set to 10 minutes, which is reasonable, I think. Yeah, thank goodness, because that was really frustrating. Yeah, so here we go. Whoops. So I got just 2. Oh, I already have my 3 yellows, and I didn't need a spit. So I just need my 1 last berry burst flower, and then we're good to go. All right, there we go. So lots of die cutting, but easy die cutting, which I like. Never a big fan of like fussy stuff. You may notice that with the classes that I offer. They're very rarely fussy. Okay, so we've got our leaf, and we're going to do our flower, and we're going to do that same trick we did before with the dimensionals. So grab your flower, grab a leaf, put it where you want it, and then pin it there with the dimensional, and repeat. Come on. Come on, come on. There we go. Okay, that looks good. Oh, don't stick to my thumb. There we go. And then 1 more dimensional just for good luck. Okay, so with that done, we're going to attach this flower, and then all of our other little flowers are going to be put on with mini glue dots. So this guy I'm going to just use here in the corner. And then all of the rest of our flowers are going to go on with mini glue dots so that we can kind of scatter them around. So I do like to pick my mini glue dots up with my Take Your Pick tool and pop that on the back. And just like that. And so I'm kind of using these little baby flowers like they were embellishments, like little rhinestones or something. Like we're just scattering them kind of in groups of 3 like we would with other embellishments, and having fun with them. There we go. 2 more. There. That one in there. And 1 more. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I really like how this card turned out. I like the little frame around the words. Just kind of everything about it. And again, it's a really fun one that you could do in any color scheme. So you've got a friend who's got favorite colors, just, go for it, change it up. And then I'm using the Pretty Peacock sequins from our sequins trio to decorate the front of this. And again, kind of that rule of 3s. I'm making little triangles and just trying to kind of keep it odd numbers and stuff like that. Okay, there we go. So that is our 3rd card complete. I'm just going to bring in all 3 of our cards for this week's card class. So when you place a $60 order, you actually get the make and take kit to make 2 of each of these. So you end up with 6 cards. And with a $70 order, I also throw in a pack of the adhesive back sequins trio. And then, like I said before, this one's great because I'm also offering a stamp camp using this exact same stamp set. So you can get this card class with that $60 purchase, where maybe you grab your stamp set and dies. And then I have my stamp camp where you can purchase I'm going to forget the price now, but there's a price option that does not include the stamp set and dies. And with that one, you get your DSP and the 14 cards that come in my stamp camp. So at the end of the day, you're going to end up with 20 cards, 17 different designs using this stamp set. So it really is like a really awesome thing for you if you like this stamp set and hate having stamp sets sit on your shelf and not get used. You will definitely use this one. So thanks so much for joining me for this week's card class. I do these every Wednesday morning, so it's free to watch. And then if you'd like the make and take kit, as well as the printable PDF with all the instructions and everything, and a link back to this video so you can rewatch it as you craft with your supplies, then you can place that order with me. And if you have any questions, not sure about host codes, not sure about how to place an order, that kind of thing, feel free to contact me. Wednesday's my day off. I literally just stay at home and stamp and talk to people about stamping. It's my favorite day of the week. So definitely feel free to contact me if you have any questions about how it all works, about the stamp camp, you're not sure about things. So yeah. And if you're a pro at this, some of you get my stamp or my card classes to go every single week and you're a pro at it, then you guys know what to do, and enjoy. All right. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.